Hi, I'm Joey, and this is another episode of We Love College Waterski. This week, my guests are from Auburn, Grand Valley, Oklahoma State, and this week we're trying to do an all-region roundtable. Unfortunately, our rep from the West Coast wasn't able to make it tonight, but we're going to go ahead and keep talk about all things ski. Does anyone want to say hi and where you're from?
Yeah, sure. I'm JP Lixie. I'm the president of the Grand Valley State University Waterski team.
I'm Emily Sampson. I'm the president of the water ski team at Auburn University, and I'm originally from Northern California.
I'm Luke Carnes. I used to be the president of OSU, now a recent alumni, and I am from Oklahoma State University.
And so one of the big reasons why I wanted to bring Luke back from last week was because he had, after our interview, he had this idea to do an all region roundtable. So I wanted to make sure he's a part of this for the second go. So how long have all you guys been skiing?
I've been skiing since I was 15 months old.
I've been skiing since I was 6 years old.
And I've been skiing since I was roughly 2 or 3 years old.
Cool. And then what's your guys' favorite events?
Slalom by far.
My favorite event is definitely trick.
I'm a slalom guy.
Great. And so those are all of our intro questions. Now, what's it like to ski in like each of your regions? Like, what's your favorite part? What makes each region unique? You guys want to start with those?
Yeah, of course. Skiing in the Midwest, I love it. Seems like everybody's a family with each other. All the teams are close with one another. Everyone's out there supporting each other. Even if they're not on your team or not, everyone's cheering one each other on. It's always a blast going to the Midwest tournaments. Something I always look forward to going to. Always looking for hanging out, meeting new friends, and just bonding with my team as a whole.
I would have to say for me, it's definitely, and JP touched on a little bit, is the idea of family. All the teams are really close, and we've got teams ranging from brand new like my team with only 2 or 3 skiers to teams like ULM who are multinational champions, and yet you can go up to any one of them. They're so approachable, and it just makes it such a fun environment to be a part of. The support and the coaching and everything that they give you is just amazing.
Skiing in the Sack's pretty similar. One unique thing that I enjoy about skiing out here is I am a photographer and I take pictures of everybody at the tournaments, and they love them. They use them. They were super supportive of the idea. They love when I use the pictures that I take of them. And then they also are always willing to coach. You can text them even if it's 12 o'clock at night and be like, hey, I have this question on, even if it's math homework, they'll help you out. But it's definitely interesting getting to ski with Anna Gay and Sean Hunter from Alabama, but also skiing with new skiers from Lander University, or even our own new skiers at Auburn. So there's just a wide range of interests and abilities.
Great. And then, so with everybody being fairly experienced, like some sort of like top leadership role on your teams, is there anything that you guys think that your region can improve on or can pass to other regions that they do like particularly well?
I honestly can't say anything. David Heisman and Christy Kingsman, they both do a phenomenal job running our team, the Midwest. I honestly can't think of anything. They do a great job. So
I really enjoy that our region is all about bringing in new teams right now, or restarting new teams. So Matt Page is in the process of working on that. But also our communication between teams and leadership is all really strong. So everybody always knows where we stand at every point in time.
I think for the South, it's definitely something that we do have a lot of distance between some of the teams and not as much between the others. And I feel like we definitely could utilize some of the non-skiing get-togethers to kind of bring the teams to a more neutral location. But honestly, our leadership does such a good job, and they just really, really help out with making sure everyone's included, making sure everyone's added in, and they do a great job running all our tournaments, and they do every year, like year after year. It's just awesome.
Great. And then, so going to, like Emily mentioned, team development, a huge part of that is recruiting. So I want to know, what have you guys done to recruit more kids? Because everyone wants to know what actually works to get people on water.
So I know things that our team specifically has done in the past is putting the boat on the concourse, reaching out to skiers that we know on Instagram, utilizing our current team members to get the word out. And then I think that just having pictures of our events helps as well. Because when those individual skiers are posting their pictures, people become more interested about it. We're inviting people to those tournaments. And then even this past semester, we had the opportunity to participate in some non-collegiate tournaments together as collegiate skiers. And we had alumni, prospective skiers there. And so I think that's helped out a lot in our region as well.
I think for us at OSU, we did a lot of, we tried to get people to just kind of hang out with us, and we didn't really have a boat. Our lake wasn't that close. Tournaments were really far, so it really was kind of a hard choice. But the best thing we did was just become friends with people. You know, start having like study nights, hangout nights, go bowling, just little things that would just, you know, get people around, make them start to feel like they're part of the group, and then try to bring them to the further away events.
Over at Grand Valley, we recruited 15 people alone, which is amazing, especially with the pandemic going around. Grand Valley really does a really good job on having club sports, like put their team out there. So they do a thing called Campus Life Night, where all the clubs and club sports all around the campus get together and promote their team or their fraternity, sorority. So that, but none of that like really went on this semester. So what we pretty much, how we got our 15 members was all through our Instagram. People were just messaging our Instagram, was curious how all the cool photos, videos that we post on it, and they found out that it was very interesting. So they reached out to us, we got in contact with them, and they ended up coming to a couple of non-collegiate tournaments, AWSA tournaments, and they saw how cool it was, and just bonding, team bonding events, homework sessions, movie nights. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Great. And now the like other side of that, have you guys tried anything that just didn't work? Something that teams might have the idea to do, but should you guys think they should just avoid wasting time with?
I can say,
go ahead,
sorry,
Luke.
I can say for ours is I mean, for the most part, I would say the one to stay away from is multi-club meetings, because you get yourself paired up with another club or two other clubs, and the bigger clubs are going to win. If you're a new starting team, it's definitely not a good idea to go join in with a club of 30 people and have you with like 2 or 3. You just end up not being able to pull the same amount of people.
For us, we have to pay attention to what's going on campus around us. So Auburn's a big football school. Recruiting doesn't really happen in the fall, which sucks. But if we can focus it in the spring, it's usually a lot better. So just learning to pay attention to what's big on your campus, what might draw students, whether it's rushing frats and sororities or, you know, the football games on Saturdays. Those are the big things to try and work around so that you can draw the most amount of people.
Following up on like what Emily said, that's the same thing. Like knowing like what's big around your campus and university, really trying to promote your team, putting it out there. Along with that, yeah.
Nice. And then I know you said that you avoid recruiting like you don't avoid it during the fall, but you recognize it doesn't happen. Do you guys still do stuff like get your name out there at football games? Because I feel like with huge crowds at Auburn, it'd be a good way to just like people recognize, oh, we have a ski team.
So we can't do anything at football games, unfortunately. I know 10 or 15 years ago, the team did used to do some fundraisers at the football stadium. So they would work one of the concession stands in their Auburn Waterski gear, but it required the whole team. So everybody was giving up game day, and it's kind of dwindled off over the years as people have varied in interests. But we do go to what we call O-Day, which is with our campus rec. And then we also have another campus rec event where all the club sports get together, and we can go and recruit at that in the fall.
Okay. And so you brought fundraising, which is a great segue to the next part. So fundraising should be a huge part of any team. And so what are your guys' go-to fundraisers?
Ours is definitely docks and lifts. So whether putting them in and during the beginning of the spring and then taking them out towards the end of fall, that's our biggest one. We have a huge list, about 25 people that we usually do. And then we do some other like small fundraisers, such as like doing a fundraisers at Freddy's Burgers. Like we just show up for 2 hours and we get 20% of all of their profits. So like we really promote having like students go to Freddy's or Culver's, Panera Bread, really telling them to get out there, buy a meal at one of those restaurants, and then like I said, at whatever the 2 hours that the 20% that we get of.
We also do benefit nights. Most of them are at local places in Auburn, but some of them are chain restaurants as well, like Chipotle and stuff like that. And then right now we're in the process of working with the university to come up with something remote that we can do. So probably come June, we will be using the pictures that I took in 2019 at Nationals to create an 18-month calendar. It's still something in the works, but that would include pictures of everybody, assuming I can get consent from them with using their pictures in the calendar. But that's what we're working on right now. And then I think anything you can do that's a neutral fundraiser, for lack of a better term, where it doesn't just say Auburn Waterski or something like that. I know a lot of teams have done the jump shirts where it says just send it on the back, and you can sell those to skiers all over the country. So something like that, I think, brings in a lot more than just something that has your team name on it, but you can also associate it with the team.
For a smaller team, we definitely did not get into that heavy fundraising with the benefit nights and stuff. You generally need a larger team to get those going. So for us, it was a lot of, reaching out to those people that we knew were supportive of the collegiate water ski world and getting maybe a gear donation or something just to help us have the resources to actually build up members. Because if you have no water skis, how are you going to get people to water ski? So we fortunately had a couple people that were very, very gracious to us and sent us more gear than we could ever use. And we're very thankful for that. And it set it up to where the current guys that are up there can do it. But again, with the whole pandemic, it makes it hard to even more so than it used to be.
Okay. It's all great insight. And then similar to the recruiting thing, like I've known some fundraisers just don't work. Is there anything that you guys think that more teams should just not bother with?
Yeah, Grand Valley's team tried doing a candle drive one year, and it wasn't, just ended up not working. So our team, I guess, just wasn't motivated enough to do it, or either that they tried to and people just wouldn't buy the candles. It just didn't work for us. It may work for some other teams, but the candle drive was definitely a no-go, so we didn't bother with it again this year.
Luke touched on this earlier, but the benefit nights can be really hard if you have a smaller team. I know we've had our officer team sit at benefit nights and literally just ask everybody that walked in to say that they were with Auburn Waterski. So that is a way around it. But that's the only one other than like the specialized team gear type fundraisers that you might have a hard time with. So if you can think out of the box, it'll help you a lot.
Okay, great. And then talking about fundraisers, have any of your teams done like some sort of banquet at the end of your season? I know that's a huge moneymaker for some teams that do them.
Grand Valley's water ski team has done a banquet. We call it ski formal. But we didn't do it as a fundraising event. We mainly did it as a towards at the end of the year season send off for everybody to get together, do paper plate awards, have a nice dinner, bring a date, dress up, that sort of thing. But no, it was nothing along the lines of raising money at it.
We do paper plate awards as well, but we usually just get together as a group. So we've never done an official banquet. We do some little senior gifts every now and again if we have a large group of seniors graduating, and we kind of celebrate them as they get ready to finish their collegiate skiing stint. But other than that, we haven't actually done an official banquet, especially not for a fundraiser.
Yeah, for a smaller team, we never really pulled a banquet off. It was usually just the people that were on the team sitting around a table, buying each other drinks and making fun of each other at the end of the year. So really, it wasn't big enough. You kind of need a little bit of support behind your team to do that.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. I know some of the teams that I know that do it. It really does rely on your like current team doing stuff for a silent auction, donating items, and then alumni coming back and spending money on the team. And then, so my next question is all about actual skiing. So what are your guys' practice situations like?
From this past fall,
Sure.
how they were like. Well, Grand Valley Club Sports only allowed us to practice 2 days a week for 2 hours a day, so 4 hours in total throughout the week. And we got to choose what days we chose. We chose Tuesdays and Thursdays. We would take the boat out 4 till 6 o'clock, but that was it. So we set up an Excel sheet as an e-board, did a nice sign-up sheet of what days people would go, the times they would go. And so it was like a really smooth, easy process, like have people ready at the dock, have people get ready, have all their gear on by the time the boat comes, because we only had a 2-hour limit, 2-hour window. And then we had to drop the boat back off at our storage unit. So it was like a tight squeeze, but we made it work.
At Auburn, the lake that we use is 40 minutes away. And currently the university is not allowing any non-essential university travel. So with that, travel to the lake is considered non-essential university travel. So even though club sports says that we are a socially distanced sport naturally, we are not allowed to practice at this moment in time. Now we're allowed to go out there and check on our equipment, make sure everything's okay, because our boat is currently on a lift. We opted not to take it out this year because we no longer have a cover for it. But it's currently on a lift. We do have a trailer full of equipment out at the lake. It's all locked up, but we do have people go out there every now and again just to check on equipment. But we're not allowed to practice.
For OSU, I know a little bit about their situation. I wasn't really around after the pandemic hit, but they definitely, their lake is 2 hours away. It was definitely more of a weekender trip sort of lake, but since the pandemic, the owner of the lake, who is a little bit older, decided to kind of keep it right there in the lake. Just the people who lived at the lake could ski, and everyone has to like sanitize the boat and everything. So it kind of unfortunately took us out of a practice situation. And I know one of the guys on the team who's an amazing skier, like he hadn't even been skiing because he was out. The lake owner considered him a at-risk person to bring it back. So
Okay. And then, so without COVID, what do you guys normally do? Do you all have courses? Do any of you have ramps? Sounds like you guys all have not easy boat access, but at least regular access to boats?
So Auburn does own their boat. We have a slalom course and a jump ramp at our ski lake. We have team equipment for people to use if they don't have their own, but we also have storage room for everybody's equipment if they happen to have it themselves. We go out every chance we get without COVID. So I've been out at 5 o'clock in the morning before 8 a.m.s. And I've also been out until the sun goes down. So it just depends on like who wants to go, who's willing to go, who can drive and all that kind of stuff. But we go out potentially every day if we can.
Yeah, OSU was with that 2-hour drive. I mean, we went weekends. Weekdays just didn't make sense to get out there, but we took it full advantage of those weekends where we would ski nonstop from the time we got there till the time we left. But we had a full slalom course, jump ramp, and thanks to those very generous donations, we had full team gear, jump skis, slalom, and trick. So we were very thankful for that.
Grand Valley does also own their own boat. We have a 2011 Malibu Response that was donated to from one of our teammates. And we have 2 practice sites. We practice out on a river called Bass River. That's about 20 minutes away from GV's campus. We go out there Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And then on Wednesdays, we go to a place called West Shore. And out there they have a course and a ramp and everything. So usually when we go out to Bass River, it's just free skiing. Usually the new recruits tend to go out to that one a bit more, teach them how to ski and all. And then Wednesdays is usually like more of our A team skiers and go out there, jump, slalom the course and whatnot.
Okay. It's nice to hear that everyone has access to what they would need to ski. So I've got 4 different scenarios as long as we have some good experience from across the country. Want to go through different ways that you can hopefully help teams that are struggling with stuff like that focus on what they can do to get better in tournaments. So the first one is super, I'd say dream conditions. So if you have a team with full 3 event access, you have everything like courses, ramps, boats, gear, what do you guys think would be the best way to build up a team or build up some skiers with basically unlimited resources?
I would say for a team with basically unlimited resources, and another one to touch on is just close lake access. I would say 20 minutes or under is just to bring people out. Tell them you're just going to the lake. Get them out there, have them just come hang out, whether it's just to tan or just hang out and be part of everything and maybe learn how to ski once or twice. That's the best way to get people to just join and be part of everything.
Exactly what Luke said. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to go out on a boat in a bathing suit, hang out with some cool people, talk about skiing or whatever, take a break from class and enjoy being out on the water, right?
Yep. Emily, do you have anything to add for best case scenario?
No, Luke touched on it all. If you can get people to go out with you, you'll find a core group of people that will get hooked on the sport real quick. So
great. And then so the next one is slightly less good, I guess, where let's say that you have pretty much unlimited access but no ramp or course. What do you guys think how would you build up your team with that if you have just a boat and gear? Would you focus on slalom? Would you do trick because you don't need a course for that? Ride on jumpers?
You can definitely obviously do trick. I grew up, we skied on private lakes, we skied on public lakes. Trick became my favorite thing because I could do it everywhere. But free skiing slalom will help you a lot too. If you're out there and you're just focusing on your form and not having to focus on getting to from one ball to two ball, you can focus on your form a lot more and then worry about the buoys later. So you're building from the foundation instead of worrying about your timing at first.
Yeah, Emily knocked it out of the park there. I mean, it's just get people out on the water, teach them to ski, teach them the right way. And at the end of the day, when you go to the tournaments, there's your course practice. Get out there, just have fun. The best part about collegiate water skiing is that new guy that goes around one ball and falls going to two is going to get just as many cheers as the guy who jumps 180 feet.
Exactly. Luke and Emily touched on it. I mean, long as you're out there having fun, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're riding around on jumpers and you're having fun, then so be it.
Great. And then, so one that is unfortunately like a very real thing for many teams. Let's say you can only ski like either just at tournaments or maybe get out once a week. Well, there's something that you guys would want that skier or team to work on.
Dryland practice all the way. Auburn has a board that one of our parents created. It's basically a lazy Susan. You can practice trick on it. It's helped me a lot. The lake that we had all-stars at back in 2019 had a similar board with an angle to it. So you can use anything like that to practice trick. Go to the gym. There's all sorts of different workout videos from skiers on Instagram, Facebook, that kind of stuff. Dryland practice helps a lot more than people realize.
All right. So you mentioned the swivel board. What other types of dry land activities can people do?
Leaning exercises for slalom. Tie a slalom handle to a pole somewhere or to something solid and put your feet against the base of it and lean back and just practice that perfect slalom position.
If you go to the gym or have access to the gym on campus or whatever, core exercises, leg exercises, arm exercises, anything that is engaging those muscles that you're using when you're skiing is essentially going to help you down the road. So whatever you can do to strengthen yourself on dry land, whether it's technique or muscle wise, it's all going to help you. So
They touched on it perfectly.
Great. And then, so last couple questions is, so as we have reps from 3 of the 4 regions right now, what's something you guys think that all teams should do, regardless of where they are?
I would say one thing is, build that social game, build that social media up, build those groups of people you hang out with up, and make sure that team is close knit and strong and always putting themselves out there for everyone else.
To kind of go along with that, I would say focus on the sport, focus on how much as a group you all love it, because as a team, that's what matters. It doesn't matter that you're stressed about your aerospace engineering homework. It doesn't matter that you have to work at 8 a.m. the next morning. You're there together, you're enjoying time together, and that's what's going to make the team fun.
Team bonding's huge. These guys are your family at the end of the day. That's how I look at it. That's how everyone on GV's team looks at one another. So, I mean, team bonding's everything to us, and we try to do as much events with each other. And honestly, every time we are hanging out with each other, we always have a blast with one another. So.
All right. And then my last question, I've changed it for this week. So very simple. Why do you guys ski?
I ski because I love it. I mean, when you're out skiing, there's nothing else that's going through my head. I'm not worried about anything else. The only thing I'm doing is having a smile on my face, doing what I love to do.
For me, it connects me back to my family, even being 2,000 miles away from home. But growing up, my dad did it. My whole family did it. Even my grandma, she's 78 years old and she still slaloms. So if you can find something like that, I think it's something you should treasure. And it's helped me a lot just to focus on school and kind of get out of my head for a little while. But that's definitely why I ski, because I love it.
Mine's definitely for the love of the sport, the rush when you do it, the relationships you build, the area just to, let loose from life for a second and just go have fun. And just that it's just the love of the sport when you're totally and wholeheartedly in love with something like that.
Great. Well, that's all I had. Thank you guys so much for coming and talking and honestly meeting each other. Like, one of the biggest things that I've been trying to push with this is that, yes, there's something like 60 teams, there's 4 regions, but it's all one family in one sport. So I'm glad you guys could all come talk to each other, learn. Hopefully you guys learned something new today. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we stop recording? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And thank you to anyone who's listened this far. Have a great day.